Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on your location. This is Leadership Talk with Adegoke, the 60-second podcast. And I have with me Jeanette Adito, a business or an etiquette coach, internationally acclaimed. She's on this podcast. She'll be adding massive value. Welcome. How are you today, man?
Okay, I'm very well, thank you. It's actually a nice day. It's warm outside, it's sunny, and I feel like that inside too.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, this is Leadership and Etiquette. Um, can you just tell us who is Jeanette Adito?
Yes, I asked myself the same question. Okay, I'm Janet Adito. What do I call myself now? I am actually a certified and credentialed executive leadership presence coach. I add a lot to that as well. I'm a high performance coach. I'm an etiquette expert. And I do so many things. What people also don't know about me is that I am a certified chartered accountant.
Wow.
Amazingly. So I rub all those things together all in one. And I do a lot of consulting as well. So whatever you want to tag me there, that's me as a whole.
Thank you
And
so much.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Now, who is Janet Adetu? You've spoken to that, but how did you get into leadership?
Well, it's amazing because I mentioned earlier just now that people don't know I'm a chartered accountant. That is how I started my journey of being an etiquette coach and an executive leadership presence coach as well. Working for KPMG and EY, two top accounting firms, I have a very good idea how it works in the corporate space. And so I realized as an auditor, when I step into organizations, believe it or not, they used to be afraid of auditors for the fear of what we're coming to find. And so they always had the stiff upper lip and nobody used to want to talk to us. They put us in one corner and keep us there, not really relate to us. And then I realized, in asking for information for my audit, people used to shy away. And so I had to come up with a different method, a different style of how I can become more approachable and how I can become more relatable even while I was doing my job. And so I did a lot of things. I did the ABC of etiquette. I transformed my appearance. I wore more approachable colors and more, appealing kinds of styles of suits. All right. My behavior was more of a friendly one. How are you today? How is everything? How's the family? How's work going on? I was becoming relatable. And even in communication, clear, concise, friendly, confident as well, but more of a sister brother kind of thing. I'm more of I care about you. You're my customer, you're my client, but I also want to show that I care about you. And that made them become more relatable to me, and they came to me now with unsolicited information. Do you need this? Do you need that? It worked like like diamond. It just like work. It just worked like the click of a finger. And I realized there and then that how you present yourself to people
Hmm.
out there is important. Perception is truly reality, right? Even as a leader and an authority in your space, how do you present yourself? What's the perception of you that you leave behind when you've left the room, when you've gone? What do people remember about you? And for me, a lot of people used to say it was how I carry myself, how I present myself, how I speak, how I relate to people. And this is when I knew that this was an important element of somebody growing to wanting to become a leader, or that person who is a leader, how to accelerate and carry your team along with you. Because whether you like it or not, you're mentoring from a distance. People
Hmm.
are watching the way you do things. People are
Hmm.
watching how you come across, what you wear, and things like that. And so, therefore, being in that leadership space, for me, it's all about impact and influence. How
Wow.
are you impacting? How are you influencing? Even in the little things that you do, because it speaks volumes. You know how they say action speaks louder than words?
Yeah.
And really, even with your body language, you're saying so much without saying a single word. And so for me, I projected myself in a way that I could be relatable, approachable, friendly, authoritative, not authoritative in a good way, aligned, appropriate, so that people could relate to me. because I needed information from them to complete my assignment as an auditor so that I could meet deadlines and AGMs, okay? They also, they were doing their obligation. They needed to have audited reports. And so it was a win-win for all of us. And that's how it has been, even as I started facilitating and training, and I got into it quite naturally. All right. I didn't even know it was an inborn talent that I had until I went into it, and it just flowed like that. And that's how you're able to disseminate knowledge to people, because they can see it in you. You're practicing what you preach. And so for me, leadership really has a lot to do with you as a person, right? How do you present yourself to your team? Clear, concise, consistent, confident, all of that, charisma, character, everything speaks to you as a person. And you must lead by example. That's the number one thing. You cannot be preaching something and doing something else. And so therefore, you as a leader, you must pay attention to detail.
Wow, this is so good.
To detail. Absolutely. And so that's how I sort of metamorphosized into it. And so that's why when I say I'm an executive and leadership presence coach, I know from firsthand what presence means, when it means becoming a leader, being a leader, portraying as a leader. Your presence speaks volumes to your customers, to your clients, to your colleagues, to your social circles. It makes a big difference, and it's very important.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to that. Now, what is leadership?
Wow. Like I said, leadership has a lot to do with you presenting some really important qualities. Leadership speaks to being the driving force of an objective. Leadership speaks to trying to accomplish something and carrying others along with you that are following you. Leadership also speaks to many things. I talked about appearance. Yeah. How do you look as a leader? There's something that is expected of a leader. If you walk into an organization, you say you're the CEO of Adegoke Omotola Company and Co. There's an expectation of a leader. So what are you showing people? Are you sure that's the leader? Oh, that's the leader. That's the orga. Instantly, you know how they say first impressions go a long way.
Yes.
So how do you look? And then even with leadership, it speaks to. There's an acronym that I love that I picked up, and I really love to speak to it, about how you look as a leader. And I think a particular lady, can't remember her name right now. I will get her name in a moment, actually. I think her name is Sarah also. Her name is Sarah. And she speaks to leadership. Sarah Brummett, I think. She speaks to leadership in a fantastic way. And I resonate with that. She says, as a leader, it's all about your look, how you resonate. What's your signature like? What's your visual signature like? And then she speaks to it in terms of how do you engage? As a leader, how do you engage your team? How do you motivate your team? How do you inspire your team? How do you support your team? How do you grow your team? And then she says about acting. How do you act? This is your behavior. As a leader, how do you act? How do you show people that this is the right way to do things? And therefore, and you're living up to it. So you don't want to have an etiquette breach. You said this is how it should be, and you did the other thing. And it speaks to how do you deliberate? How do you make decisions? How do you solve problems? And then it speaks to how do you evolve? You know what? A leader cannot be stagnant. A leader must be in a place where you are continuously growing all the time. Remember, as you grow and learn new things, the people in your circle of influence will also tap into your new knowledge and say, oh yes, Oga said this and Madam said that and my boss said this and my boss said that. And then again, of course, if you have noticed, I've spelled the word leader. And R there is about how you resonate. How do you sound? How do you sound? When you're talking, are you walking into a place and speaking with your bedroom voice? No, when you're speaking to 5 people, it's different from how you speak to 50 people. So how is your voice being projected? What kind of audience are out there that need to hear you? What kind of occasion is it? Is it a party or is it a formal event? So it's about, even when you're in the boardroom, I do a lot of board presence as well, coaching. And it's about how do you present yourself even in the board? Imagine as a woman, you're one of the very few women, or maybe the only woman in the board. You must do you must make extra effort to be recognized, right? In that board. So how do you look? hey, how do you engage? How do you act? How do you deliberate? How do you evolve? And how do you resonate? Extreme aspects of leadership. To be a leader, it's not a piece of cake. You must
Wow.
work at it. You must work at it.
This is massive, massive. This is
Absolutely.
Leadership Talk with Adigoke. I'm so honored and privileged to have on the platform Jeanette Adito. Her
Thank
husband,
you.
Otumba Adito, is someone I I get inspired by
A
so
leadership
many
guru himself.
times. Even at the recent Chartered Institute of Personnel Management conference in Abuja, he was there live and sharing from experience how he led through even turbulent times. So this is Otumba Adeto's wife. She's also rightfully so in her own position. She's come to share on Leadership Talk with Adegoke. She's a chartered accountant. She's a presence coach, a leadership presence coach. She's also an etiquette coach. So we're looking at leadership and etiquette. Now, I just want you to share with us, if you can, the the similarity between leadership and etiquette. What's where did they meet?
Okay, right. True. Every leader needs some form of decorum, all
Okay.
right, to lead. Anyway, to lead. And every leader needs, and so with etiquette, really, it's a bourgeoisie, lovely word, all right. Well, really, it's all about protocol and following protocol. And really and truly, if you want to dig deeper, etiquette is about personal development.
Hmm.
How do you present yourself, I call it the ABCDE. So appearance, behavior, communication, decorum, and your executive presence, right? You even when I say decorum, right, I even call that's even an element for dining etiquette. Because
Hmm.
guess what? When it comes to dining, that is one of the most powerful tools we use to know if somebody has polish or not. And
True.
so infusing etiquette into all of this, it's about doing the right thing at the right place at the right time. It's the old and the new way of doing things about how you look, how you behave, how you
Hmm.
communicate, how you carry yourself. All
Wow.
right. And so every organization, every association, every company, every country, every society has rules and regulations, right? As to how you should behave, what you should do. Some people have uniforms, some people have codes, dress codes, behavior codes. And so therefore, when you're in a certain midst of people, how
Hmm.
do you behave? How do you carry yourself? And there's
Hmm.
so many examples in your school, in your university, in your organization, right?
Hmm.
This is how we do things here. In your alumni associations, this is
Yeah.
how we do things. This is the song we sing. This is the clothes we wear. And so therefore, you try to follow suit according to, for example, countries. Various countries have their various ways of doing things. Culture plays a major part, and religion as well, when it comes to etiquette. Now, as a leader, you can imagine you are going on a very important business trip. All right.
Hmm.
It's very important that you find out the business etiquette guidelines of the country you're going to do business with. There are
Wow.
some countries where they call 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is 10 o'clock. In fact, if you love yourself, get there around 9:30. There's some countries that 10 o'clock means 12 o'clock, right? You don't want to practice your own etiquette protocol in another country because you may then offend the people that you're going to see.
True.
And it can make or break a deal. It can make or break a business deal. You're going to sign thousands of dollars worth of business, right? Or millions of dollars worth of business, and you go and break protocol. That's a
Hmm.
killer in itself, all right?
Yeah.
That is a killer in itself. So with etiquette, we try to, follow, we try to, how they say, when you're in Rome, do as Romans do,
Yeah.
right? And so therefore, you try to follow suit so that you don't breach etiquette, you don't upset or offend other people, and you're doing things the right way. So in a business environment, you shake hands, right? But
Yeah.
hey, if culture says you don't shake the hands of a woman, the moment you stretch out your hands to a woman where culture says you shouldn't, you've offended that
Yeah.
person. And for that reason alone, you create an impression of yourself that is not very favorable.
Wow.
And so as a leader, you want to ensure that you get your etiquette right when you're going out for business. So sometimes, you go to a place and they expect you to bring a little gift. All right. You go without a gift. Oh, wow. What is the protocol in this environment? How should I do it? How should I not do it? There are some places where when you're in a dining setting, if you finish your food, it means you're not satisfied. You want more. And so therefore you learn to not to finish your food so that it's appreciated. And there's common courtesies. And there's some common, oh yes, you go to some places in Asia, you keep on finishing the food because you love it, means you want more. All right. And some places where burping is considered rude, in another country, when you burp, it means you love the food and you're congratulating the chef. In some places where you're not using knife and fork, but you're using chopsticks. So you're using chopsticks, for instance. If you use those chopsticks and you take from a communal bowl and you place the food in your mouth, it will take the food away because you have used the same chopsticks that you use for your mouth inside that bowl. And so you find that they'll keep taking that food away and you're wondering where they're taking the food to. It is expected that when you take food with chopsticks from a communal bowl, you switch your chopsticks to the other side, take from the back, put it in your plate, switch around, and then eat. So there's so many guidelines, so many guidelines. In the UK, for instance, right, you cannot be talking when the national anthem is on. And I guess for many countries as well. So if you're talking or you're speaking or you're doing a speech and the national anthem comes on, you keep quiet until it finishes. So again, in Africa, so many things that we never knew were etiquette. We never knew they were etiquette, but they are etiquette. Of course, we don't shake hands we don't receive things from this part of the world with our left hand. It's considered rude. You must always take with your right hand. And there are some cultures where you must courtesy, you must bow if you're speaking to an older person. Now, these are all leadership traits. They're all leadership traits. They're grooming you to become that leader of repute. And as a leader, you want to make sure that you got it all right. Now, I want to just clarify one thing here.
Okay.
A lot of people think etiquette is bourgeoisie, it's for the rich, it's for the famous, it's not for us. They also think it is trying to be what you are not, okay? Or it's trying to be something else or trying to pretend to be. It is absolutely not. Everybody needs some element of decorum one way or the other. Everyone needs to know when to portray courtesy and respect at the right time, right place with the right people. All right. And so therefore, it's not about being who you're not. It's about carrying yourself in a way you have your own brand. Remember,
that's
what
right.
do you want your brand to represent?
Yeah.
You want your brand to represent something of high repute, good, positive words, positive impressions. You see, what is a killer for most leaders is when they leave behind a negative impression of themselves.
Wow.
And so with that etiquette, you will carry yourself properly, appropriately, aligned with your environment, right time, right place, right people. That's where the link is.
Wow. This is massive. I want to celebrate you and salute you for your depth. This is special. If you just joined us, this Leadership Talk with Adegoke. I'm sharing the platform with Jeanette Adito, and we're looking at leadership and etiquette. Now, what's the challenge? What's the consequence of a leader not knowing how to, adopt etiquette, implement etiquette?
Yes, you're right. The truth is you and I are coaches and they say everyone needs a coach. Many times, a lot of leaders having accomplished where they are today, they don't think they need a coach. They don't think they need some of these things we're talking about because they feel they're well and truly accomplished. But these are things that are heavily overlooked and they're the small detail that make the big difference, right? And so therefore, they don't even realize when they have breached. So for instance, I give you a typical true life story. When you go to an event, an external corporate event, it's expected that you don't overdrink alcohol. Because, when you overdrink alcohol, anything can happen. They say loose lips sink ships. When you drink too much, there's a tendency that you may say things and go off. The walls do have ears. And so there's a particular guy I know many years ago, a senior executive in an organization of well repute. And, there was a customer appreciation event and all the executives were there. And I think he had a little bit too much to drink. right? And of course, because of that, he got a bit tipsy and was saying all sorts of, and of there and then, he was saying things he ought not say. He was acting in a very deplorable manner. Not, image is everything. And again, you are out there representing the reputation of your organization. You, the human capital, represents your organization. So you can imagine when he was tipsy, acting all drunk and saying things he shouldn't have said. And honestly, he really, really, really damaged the reputation of the organization based on his behavior that day. Needless to say, he did get the sack, because the organization felt that this was a poor leadership. It was unrepresentative of their brand as an organization, and it was highly unexpected from him either. I guess at the time, he didn't realize what was happening or what he was doing. Probably later he did. And so there are so many consequences like that. Again, I recall coaching a particular organization where they called me in to say, oh my God, they sent an executive to a huge conference abroad, and it got to the time of dining when they all had to go to the buffet queue. And word got back to them that this particular executive was in the dining queue waiting, the buffet queue waiting, and he had taken his soup and he was dunking his bread in the soup and eating it while he was still in the queue. Well, he didn't take it back to the table to eat. He was doing that, eating in the queue so that he could get the next. They did not take it lightly at all. They did not take it lightly at all. He was sanctioned. They felt that, wow, the reputation of the organization was misrepresented. And why would he do that? Go to the table with your first course meal, sit down and eat it. Why dunking bread in the queue? And those are little things that can actually destroy, one, they make or break you. And so consequences are many. You can definitely lose your job. You can lose your reputation. You will not be considered of impact or influence to your team. There's just so many things that go wild out there. Yes, you can imagine being a leader now, and you're at the beach, right, with your family, and then you take a picture that does not represent, like, oh wow, or you make the mistake of voicing out an opinion of yours that didn't go down too well with you, and it goes all over social media, and they're like, wow, you're a leader coming from you. Of course, the consequences are major, so you must manage and how you present yourself outside, and you don't want to double standards. You don't want to be a double standard. You don't want to be one kind in the office and another kind at home. You should be consistent with your character, with your charisma, with the kind of clout that you carry, and so that anywhere you go, people will always have one uniform thing to say about you. And image is everything. Image is everything.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Can you share with us the things a leader must do regarding etiquette, even with the pandemic?
Oh, wow. With the pandemic really is, regarding etiquette, interesting. Okay. If I have to relate it to COVID, it's very important that you follow protocol in anything you do. Follow protocol. If this is the way they do things and you have learned about it, follow protocol, because you know best, and so therefore lead by example. So they've asked you to make sure that there's sanitizers all over your office and masks should be worn. As a leader, if your organization says no entry, no mask, no entry, you can't be entering the organization without a mask, all right? So as a leader, follow protocol to the best of your knowledge, so that at least, even where they will break it at some point, protocol will be broken, but you don't want to be seen to be one of those breaking protocol. So follow suit. Follow protocol, extremely important, all right? I would say when it comes to etiquette as well, character is your destiny. Your character is your destiny. It's extremely important that you carry yourself in a way that you want people to perceive you in a positive light. All right? Meaning that you don't just jump out of bed, wear clothes, and come to the office with your bedroom face, meaning that you haven't taken care of the fine detail. For me, in my world, if you can't take care of fine detail regarding your own grooming, if I give you a project, how are you going to handle it? You're going to ignore the fine detail of that project. So it starts with you. Etiquette starts with you. So don't overlook. Don't take it for granted. So everything about your character stems from your image, stems from your look, stems from the way you present yourself. What do you want people to perceive when they see you? What do you want people to perceive when you have left the room? What is it that you want people to say about you? Don't take it for granted. Perception, again, is reality, as I say. And so therefore, if you want people to say, wow, I had a great session with Goke. Fantastic guy, very down to earth and all that. Yes, then make sure that that is what you present. So you don't want to go into an environment and be a braggalog. It's all about you. No, show some consent. So you don't walk in and not greet. You go in, you greet. How are you? How is it? You smile, good eye contact. All of these matter. And those are the things that will make people become more approachable towards you. And those are the things that people will say. So I've spoken now about making sure that you follow protocol. It's very important that perception, your character, what you want people to perceive of you is important. So carry yourself the way you want to be people. You know how they say dress the way you want to be addressed?
Yes.
This is exactly how it is. All right. So if you are the leader or you're the owner of your business or you have a leadership role in the corporate space, carry yourself and your character, in a way that speaks positive vibes about you all the time. No doubt about it. You may have a bad hair day once in a while. It's allowed, but be more consistent on the positive side. All right. Once in a while, you get angry, you shout and all of that, but don't let people tag you as, oh my God, he's shouting all the time, grumbling all the time, and leave your inhibitions that you're having at the door when you walk into your organization. And I think third and finally, it's really when it comes to leadership and etiquette, it's all about what you communicate. All right. So communicate your message in a clear manner, in a concise manner. Let your message be transmitted properly. Don't say one thing and to others it means another thing. All right. So your message needs to be relevant, needs to be clear, concise, consistent, and it needs to be audible enough for people to understand. There are some leaders that they say one thing and they mean another. That's confusion galore. Yes, that's confusion galore. Communicate in a way, whether verbally, virtually, visually, vocally. Make sure that your message is understandable. It's clear enough. So you want to lead a team, all right? You want to make sure that everybody carry people along with you. Do you really understand? Did you understand what I just said? And get their own feedback. Don't get into a place where, oh God, I thought you said this and I thought you said that. That doesn't make you a good leader at all. And so therefore you want to make sure that you're carrying people along with you. So you communicate well, communicate properly, and make sure that people are on board with you. Your message is being carried along with everyone so that you get the desired result every time you're leading any group, no matter socially, even if you're leading your family, you want to carry the entire family along with you. And that's how you get full support of everybody that is around you. And that's how you become and project a very good leader.
Wow, this is good. For those who are just joining us or going to watch the replay, I've been having a great time with my coach. Should I say my coach? My etiquette coach now, because I'm learning also.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, this is Leadership Talk with Adigo. Okay, the 62nd episode, and we're looking at leadership and etiquette. Now, two more questions. Now with social media, now we're speaking virtually. Can you just share two nuggets regarding virtual, showing up on social media, the etiquette that comes with virtual meetings and all that?
Oh, wow. Is it just two? This is the new normal. This is the new normal, right? And thankfully, you could be, you're thousands of miles away from me, and we're able to have this beautiful conversation, even thousands of miles by the platform we're using, virtual. Yes, but it's really important. Now that we know that we've gone virtual, all right, a lot of business transactions and business conversations and business meetings are virtual. You need to remember it's still a business meeting, even though it's virtual, right? So many a times I tell people, please, when you do have a meeting, number one, you can't afford afford to come late to your virtual meeting, right? When you have a meeting, maybe you're the one that set it up, all right? Try and be in there at least 10, 15 minutes before the time, right? So you can settle yourself into that meeting, number one. Number two, it's very important that even though it's virtual, if it's a business meeting, please dress in a business-like way, and I'm not
I
saying
hope you're not related to me.
no, this is not business. This is, we're learning. Right.
Okay.
So no, I'm saying you have a meeting with a VIP client, right? And they expect there's some expectations.
Yeah.
Because it is a VIP client, dress up as if you are going to the office of that client and present yourself in the best way you can, because first impressions go a long way. Before they make any decision, they are already sizing you up in terms of your look. All right. So dress up in a way that is nicely aligned, authoritative, presentable, and so that they feel comfortable when they're having a conversation with you. Not like, oh my God, who is this person with pink hair, or, that kind of thing. And so again, too, when you're on this virtual call, please make sure that you've got everything intact. Number one thing is, because of technology, the internet can throw you out at any point in time. If it's a very important meeting, please have at least one or two gadgets, some backup, all right? Backup is important. I must say, most importantly too, when you have your virtual meeting, it's very polite to have your camera on. I do a lot of training and I see people have the camera off all the time. I guess it's convenient, but you know what? Even if you're going to have the camera off because the meeting is so long, start the meeting with your camera on. Let people visibly recognize you, that you are there. Because your name is on the screen doesn't mean you're behind the screen. You could be doing 1,001 things, which we see, right? You could be so-called multitasking, as they say. But it's very important that put your video on, let's see you there, and let's know that you're present. And maybe after a short time, you might decide to have it off. All right, that's understandable, because we can't force people to have their screens on. For many reasons, people can't have their screens on, maybe the environment they're in the car, whatever the case may be. But then when you do have your video on, please, many things to remember. Good lighting. I've seen some people have the screen on and it's completely black. They're behind, you can't see their face. They're in a place where, and I don't understand. You can see that.
And a lot of noise as well, background noise.
Yes, a whole lot of noise. That's another thing about mic. But then again, looking at the camera thing, please position yourself in a place the way it's light, because when you're having a conversation with someone, we like to see your face. It's true that intimate touch, or for physical meetings, it's not there anymore. So we rely heavily on your screen, and so therefore make sure there's light so we can see your face. Please remember to wear something decent when the camera is on. Oh my God, I had a coaching session with someone very recently, as recent as last week, and I don't know whether she remembered that her screen was on, but I had a shocker when I saw. I was like, "You can't wear that. You need to put something on." And she was trying to sort of, shift the camera and make it so that I can only see the ceiling. I said, no, that doesn't work, because you're not wearing anything. You need to wear something for this conversation. Otherwise, you make the person on the other end feel extremely uncomfortable. And hey, we've seen so many things, accidents with the camera on or camera off. And, we've seen so many things out there, from all sorts of things we've heard, people accidentally leaving their mic on, and all sorts of things we've seen. Trust me, from my end, it's like, oh, wow. So you must remember all those things. And on top of all of that, being in a virtual space, it's always good to engage, don't just be there looking, be part of the meeting, be contributive, right? Because it speaks a lot about who you are. This virtual space is new. And, it's funny. I see some people, okay, they come on the camera with their masks on. Maybe they're in an environment where, they're still in the office and all of it. But I'm wondering, how do we hear you properly? Your mask is on, bring it down.
Your mask is on your chin.
Or they're not wearing the mask properly. I mean, there's so many things, virtually. And of course, you just have to be very mindful, and speaking also to social media, please be mindful, be mindful, be mindful. The virtual world tells us now as recruiters to check this person out online before we even call them in for an interview. Wow. Whether the interview is virtual or not. So a lot of people are tapping into the virtual space to know a lot about you even before you come in for the interview. That's so right. Be careful what you post when you can't retrieve it. Be careful what you post. Show me your friends and I tell you who you are. And so therefore you're looking for an important, very good job, and be careful what you post out there. It's very important. Don't take it for granted. Yeah, absolutely.
We've done about 40 minutes, and it's just about as if
can't
we've
believe the time is gone so fast.
Yes. So finally, now for our listeners and audience all over the world, if they want to reach you, how can they find you?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, if you're looking for personal development, especially executive presence coaching or etiquette, personal development, leadership presence, board presence, either way, yes, you can definitely reach me. I do have a website now, janetadito.com. But of course, you can send me an email, janet.adito@gmail.com, just to make it easy for you. There are numbers you can reach me on. I guess I should give you the one on 0902 055 3311. 0902 553311, or just send an email if you can't get through to me, janet.adito@gmail.com. And I'd love to speak to you. And indeed, I'm just because of my dear friend Goke, I am doing a Christmas giveaway. I am actually giving free coaching sessions for about 10 people if you fit the bill. And you might just stand the chance of also getting one of my gratitude journals. So I'd love to give that out. So my Christmas giveaway to you. So reach out and see if you can, get or fit into one of my sessions. I'd love to hear from you.
Thank you so much. You're very kind.
And that's all for free.
Wow. Thank you so much. On this note, I just want to appreciate you for coming on Leadership Talk with Adegoke. It's been wonderful. For those who are going to listen to the replay and those who are on the platform, please say thank you to Jeanette Adito. She shared so much. I mean, leadership, it's influence, and you want to influence positively. Etiquette is a major part of leadership. You don't want to self-sabotage, particularly when you have a major opportunity in front of you. So I just want to say that we are so grateful to have you on the platform, and we look forward to receiving you sometime soon in the future. So on this note, thank you, everyone.
Thank you too. Thank you, Goke. God bless you. All right then. Have a great day.
This is